This video is brought to you by PrizePicks. I feel like Monroe Freeling is the prospect in this draft class that Browns fans have been the most misinformed about. Because when I hear people talk about him, I hear narratives that don't match up with the reality of his tape. Here's what I mean, right? You'll hear people talk about Monroe Freeling, and one of the things they'll say is, well, you know, he's a underwear Olympics guy. Underwear Olympics guy is somebody who has great testing but bad tape. That's not true of Monroe Freeling. Monroe Freeling has great testing and pretty good tape. You know, his tape is not bad. I don't think you have to make excuses for his tape. And if we're projecting out for somebody to play left tackle, it's the best left tackle tape in this draft class by far, by a significant margin. They're like Caleb Lomu's tape, for example, much uglier than Monroe Freeling's tape. Go watch Caleb Lomu versus Texas Tech this year, and then tell me how you feel about Caleb Lomu after that, right? And that's no shade to Caleb Lomu. It's just there's a big difference there between what Monroe's tape looks like versus what somebody like Caleb Lomu's tape looks like, and then how Monroe projects out to be a left tackle versus anybody else in this draft class. If you are looking for a pure left tackle, he's the best guy to look at in this class by far. Another thing that kind of gets undersold with Monroe Freeling is his upside, right? A lot of times people talk about him, whether it's disingenuous in order to win an argument about whether you should take Carnell Tate over him. People talk about him like his ceiling is being a mid-left tackle, right? That's why I hear a lot. He's a mid-left tackle. His ceiling is really high, and I'm going to explain why it is that his ceiling is super high. I don't think his floor is that low either. I think he has a pretty good floor as well. The more I watch him, the more I like Monroe Freeling. We're going to talk about why that is. Now, the disclaimer to any breakdown I'm doing in college, the footage might have to look a little funky in order to get this through Content ID, and it might require me uploading this to Patreon or to YouTube member feed in order for it to get through in a non-jumbled way. I'll try to be as descriptive as possible on the audio side, that if that happens, that you can still kind of make out what I'm talking about. Just wanted to get that out before we start this video. Also, want to thank my sponsor, PrizePicks. Hey, let me talk to you about my sponsor for this year, PrizePicks. It's a fun way to win cash while you're watching your favorite teams. Forget complex betting rules. Their app is designed to be incredibly easy to use. Just pick more or less on a few player stats and lock in your lineup. Speaking of, here are my picks for this upcoming NFL season. They have Myles Garrett at 14 sacks here. I think he will get more than 14 sacks. Joe Burrow at 3,875 passing yards. I think he'll be a 4,000-yard passer. I'm going to go with more. They have Derrick Henry at 1,224 yards. I'm going to go less than that. Check to see if PrizePicks is available in your state. You can follow me on the app at KWEN_C to see all of my lineups. Download the PrizePicks app today. Play $5 and get $50 in lineups when you download the app using the link in the description. All right, the first thing when you look at Monroe Freeling, right, and like compared to like Monroe or anybody else in this class, I mean, looks the part. Like this dude looks like a left tackle. Athletically, physically, build, length, all the stuff. He walks straight out of central casting. But that's not the only thing good about Monroe Freeling here. We're going to go through some of his tape against Mississippi State. We're also going to look at him in the conference championship game against Alabama. Thought he played his best football as the season went on. And if you're looking for like the first, like just kind of what are the spark notes on Monroe, great athlete, underrated in the run game. I think he tends to sometimes get a little confused in the passing game because he's inexperienced. Not the best technique in the world, but if you can get that technique to a certain place, if you can give him the experience where he's not confused by certain fronts that he sees, then I think there is a all-pro caliber level tackle there for you to go after, you know, not necessarily like Hall of Fame or anything crazy like that, right? But I think somebody who can make an all-pro team or two, you know, I think the ceiling is there for him at tackle to be that good of a player, because some of the stuff that he's able to do you just don't see guys every year be able to do. So let's jump into this, right? The Mississippi State tape. We can get a good look at like his athleticism. Now, if you watch, I think it's going to probably release after this video, my Manoa tape. One of my big issues with Manoa is that he doesn't really do a great job of bending and hitting in space. But watch Monroe Freeling not only bend, but get into the strike zone of number 7 here. So here's Freeling, and in the strike zone, right? This is where you want to strike somebody, right? Watch how he gets low, boom, strike zone. And he doesn't end up on the ground with his legs all up in the rushing lane. It's a clean hit, moves him out the way. Running back doesn't choose his hole, but it's a clean hit. And if Delp, who has a very tough job right there, could hold his man up, maybe he can cut through there and something could happen here. But either way, his assignment is out the play. Great job. All right, we're gonna go to the next play here. Again, we're looking at number 57, the left tackle. A little motion beforehand. And not the greatest throw in the world by Gunnar Stockton. Certainly, goodness gracious. It's late. All right, and behind. Well, let's watch 57, right? We're not drafting Gunnar Stockton. We're talking about Monroe Freeling. So, again, just look at the size here, the build. 2 steps, and then he engages. Would love for him on this play to have a better anchor, right? Because it looks like he drops his anchor, but he keeps getting moved. I don't think it's a great anchor drop by him. Again, the technique stuff you need to learn. He needs to be taught, right? But that's what offensive line coaches are for in the NFL, and that's what reps are for too. You know. Yeah, would love for him to sit here and then be able to kind of drop right there. And sometimes he does demonstrate this ability, right, where he figures it out to drop the anchor at the right place. But he does stock. All right, this right here. Not the cleanest executed stunt in the world. Like by Mississippi State. He does a fine job picking it up and then walling it off. Again, just natural strength there. Cause like, watch how this guy just gets pushed back in the direction that Monroe's pushing him. Let's watch Freeling again here. Now, this is something like he gets to the second level here, right? But I want you to watch Freeling here because like this is some of the athletic ability that I'm talking about. So here, they're trying to run a little fake. Well, they're running a little read option fake here, right? Quarterback's going to run that way. Ball's actually going this way. And who's the end man on the line of scrimmage on this one? Okay. So he has the e-maul here. Basically, he has to wall him off and then get to the second level once he's free of the end man. You're not really trying to block this guy long term here, right? You're just trying to slow him down. And watch Monroe, as he's stumbling, still find a way to make a block on the second level here on this linebacker who's trying to come back field side. Right? He's super low here, but he's able to just keep his balance and then boom. Not just like keep his balance and get a hand, but like keep his balance and then here. I think he's underrated in the run game. A lot of people list that as a weakness. I think he's a little underrated there. Now, a little bit late off the ball here. Right, you can see the ball gets snapped. Everybody's moving. He's a little late here off the ball. Don't know what happened there, but he's the last man off the ball here. But this is what I was talking about with margin of error, right? When you watch Manoa's tape, not a lot of margin of error for him. He has to kind of be not perfect, but close to perfect every drop to be able to get what he wants. I mean, Monroe's late off the ball here, and he's still able to just win on both levels here, right? So late, still beats him. And then also sees that linebacker, able to clear him out. And the natural strength by him, right? Like I think he's a little bit stronger than Monroe naturally. Monroe, I think if he's in a powerful position and he puts you in his sights, he could throw a harder punch. But just natural strength, he got that natural strength right there. Like, this is the second time I've seen him off a bad base be able to push another grown man to the ground. Much better get off here, off the snap. Now again, I think he needs work here, right? What he's trying to do is figure out what his assignment's going to be between these two. So he's splitting the difference here. And he kind of stops. Like, you see how his feet stop? Not necessarily what most coaches want you to do, but maybe they're teaching that in Georgia. It puts him at a real disadvantage, though, when it comes to this guy coming across his shoulder. But watch how he's able to recover athletically and just be able to be in a good position here. If 33 doesn't kind of jump the gun here, cut him off, he's absolutely fine. Guy, because he saw the beginning of that rep and thought there'd be much more trouble there than what it ended up. But Monroe's so athletic, he's just able to get there anyways. You teach this guy good technique, how to read a defensive front, with those kind of athletic gifts, he's going to be pretty good. Really, really good. Look at the length here, too. Look at that length. He's just able to reach this guy's neck from his longest position, right? Your one arm out. That's his longest position, that edge's longest position right here. He's just able to grab the inside collar of his shirt right here. Look at that length. And then look at the natural strength here. Look how little push he's able to get on him. Yeah. All right, let's watch Monroe here. Again, when we talk about strength, natural strength, I think he's pretty strong here. Watch him. That's strong as hell right there. That's a big dude he just pushed there. I don't know what he weighs on that card, but look, 25, a big muh right there. I'm trying to not get demonetized, so I'm not gonna say the whole thing, but you know what I meant, right? Look, you get that hand on him, he gets underneath him, drops it. This is why I think that one rep where he didn't drop his anchor, you could teach him how to do it right. Because right here, I mean, this is a hella back strength right here, right? Boom. You can see 25 trying to get out. He's trying to get out to the outside. Monroe just stopping him dead in his tracks here. Good rep. Nice display of power. Boom. Can't get rid of him. Can't get where he wants to. Love that. He's a strong dude. And that's a big guy, right? Again, we compare this to what I did with Monroe, which would be dropping later today, I would think. Monroe, when big guys like that got in his chest, it's a little bit of a problem. For Monroe, better, but that's what coach. Let's watch this one again. So he handles 25, just perspective of where he is on the field here, because he kind of, again, this comes with experience, right? Kind of loses perspective here, gets a bad angle on 44. That comes with experience, for sure. And it's just there's mistakes that he makes that you won't see on Monroe's tape, because Monroe is just infinitely more experienced, infinitely more skilled at this point of his career than Monroe is. No doubt about it. But I think in terms of effectiveness, Monroe Freeling was as effective for Georgia as Monroe was for Miami, despite the fact that he's not as skilled or as experienced. And that's why the upside just goes off the charts with this dude. He kind of got away with one. Was that an early set? Nah, this is right at the snap. So good timing on the snap. Look how much length he creates, space he creates here, right? And the length that he has to reattack. Gets spun a little bit, because that edge feels him on that outside shoulder, spins him. But by the time we get to the spin, I mean, we're 3 seconds, 4 seconds deep into the rep. Buys a lot of time with that push here, right? Boom, space. He's able to just kind of live on an island. And one hell of a catch by Oscar Delp. Look at that shit by Oscar. Let's see, is Oscar in frame? Yeah, Oscar in frame. Which is all right, so Monroe getting out there. Not the best rep here, right? I don't think he really knew what to do with number 9 here. He kind of 9 tries to like dip the corner on him. He at least gets his hand on his back and runs him out the way. You do wonder somebody's able to control that more, a little bit stronger NFL level. Does Monroe get beat there? Probably. And so you got big boy out here on his outside shoulder. Good job getting back. I will say this, Monroe gets to his landmark a little bit quicker than Monroe, which is surprising given the athletic difference in the testing. And then when we saw Monroe, right, he knows what to do more when somebody lands a hit on him, right? Boom, the little swipe. He knows what to do more when that happens than Monroe does. We'll see not Monroe, than Monroe does, right? With Monroe, he gets swiped here. He kind of just starts reaching. He misses the hand on that outside. He can't create that distance. We saw this with Monroe where he get that hand on you, create that distance, reset, he's fine. This one's a little too close for comfort, right? Because he gets back there at the wrong time. That ends up being a strip sack. Said he just gets poor number 7 killed. My goodness. My goodness. Hey, you gotta get low. You gotta get low. You catch that ball in the middle of the field, you gotta get down. You know what I mean? They don't teach that no more because people think it's just safe over the middle now. But you get the hand on that ball, it's not safe. Get down. You know what I mean? Create the shell so you can take the target. Nah, you can't be bobbling that shit in the middle of the field. Yeah, I'm sorry, dog. I know people gonna blame that one on the quarterback, but you know, the tight end got to get into a protective shell because you got to feel that hit coming. Bam. But yeah, like, you know, there's a little bit of raw into Monroe Freeling's game. I think no doubt about it. That natural ability that he has, though, is just like unmatched here. I mean, he's just long, fast, athletic. When he does get good technique, right, outside, boom, reset. He's coming inside. Like, you know, I just think he needs more teaching. And then this is the kind of potential. I think his biggest potential, and this might be a hot take, you know, he's fine as a pass protector. I think he becomes a all-pro once he masters the run game because his athletic potential in the run game is just insane, man. Like, watch him get here to that linebacker, boom. And look how smooth he runs for a guy his size. He gets to that linebacker. He walls that linebacker off at the second level, beats that linebacker to his spot, right? So he beats linebacker, bam, beats him to the gap, bam, right? Running back ain't even cut through the gap yet. It's already clear for him, right? And then able to, let's watch it again. Because look, if you've watched the Browns tackles move the last 2 years, this looks foreign to you, right? Browns ain't had a tackle that can move like this since Joe Thomas. But I think Monroe's upside, he'll be a fine pass protector in the league. You teach him better technique, he's gonna be okay, you know. But where his upside is the run game, because not many dudes at tackle can run this smooth and can hit in space this. Again, we talked about the strike zone. Watch how he gets out there. Look at this. He's pulling here, right? Is he the lead block? I don't think he's the lead block. I think Delta lead block. But they're going to pull him, right? They're going to pull him, get to his landmark, we're able to get to where he needs to. And then not only does he find the little man, he hits the little man in his strike zone. He's doing that at an incredible size, right? With incredible power. We saw his power. He's able to wall off that 3-tech pretty convincingly, and then also, and that's where you start to see the all-pro potential in Monroe, right? He's going to pull here. He's going to come all the way across the line of scrimmage and pull here. Now, he misses his target on this play. Look how smooth he's moving, right? Moving a little too fast, to be honest. This is a good problem to have if we're talking about from a developmental standpoint, because he's moving too fast for his own good here, right? He's moving so fast he can't really find his mark. He slows down just a hair. He's able to get there, hit that strike zone of 16, and then they're going to break that one off again. But watch him pull. Look how smooth he is as an athlete. Maybe you want to get him in yoga class so he has a little bit more bend here around his corner. But, the potential level, right? Outside, boom, just get downfield. Number 11 is your landmark. Get him on the ground. Where number 11 end that play? On the ground. Look how smooth he gets these 7-8 yards downfield, and then boom, attacks him. That's the all-pro potential there. The pass blocking stuff, he's naturally going to be good at that. Especially once he learns better technique, he gets more experience, he's going to be fine. High floor there is a pass protector, but the ceiling there at the run game is really where I get excited with them. Because the movement ability is strong there, right? Let's watch him versus Alabama. Again, the strength there is solid. He's strength. He's powerful. Let's pull that back. I think he ended up pushing this dude to the end of this play. Yeah, the strength is there. The natural pass protecting ability. He gives up no ground here against 31. 31 trying to go across his chest. He finds him. He has that hand. He uses that length. He re-engages, and he's strong as hell. So he starts setting in, boom, he ain't moving. Another one here, he's strong, man. Watch how you just bully this man off that spot. Keep pushing. Good job. And look how 31 looked like he running up against a wall. Right? Let me highlight him because I think the angle done flip. Watch this rep. You see how 31 done ran up against a wall? Watch. Look when they engage. He tries to bull him. It's a bad attempt at the bull rush too. He ain't getting nowhere. That bull ain't getting nowhere. The natural strength here. Then tries to disengage, but Monroe just stays right in front of him. One arm there. That's nice. That's a really nice rep. Yeah, I want to see him be a little bit more powerful here. We've seen him be a little bit more powerful here, but able to just get into that strike zone. That's hard for tackles to do. Get to that second level and then hit a little guy in their strike zone, because you got to go from being 6'7", right? And you're used to hitting these other guys who are like 6'4" to going down, and now you're trying to bend down to hit somebody who's 5'10". It's tough. Like, that strike zone gets real small when you're big like that, right? And we've noticed this when we watch like DeJuan Jones, big ass, try to get out there and block and hit somebody in the strike zone. He can't do it because he's too big. He can't bend to the right height. With Monroe, it's a different story. And now this is where his inexperience gets him, right? Somebody's able to get by him. Bad technique here. He kind of sits on him. lets a guy who shouldn't get outside of him get outside and doesn't necessarily know what to do when he's in this position to be able to recover well. Like, what you're getting day one, you hope is much different from what you get year two with Monroe Freeling, right? I think the floor is there to where he could be solid enough in the NFL. Maybe he struggles super early on, but figures it out at the end of the season. But the upside, I think, is worth it to take that chance there, because I don't think his floor is that low. Again, he's going to get caught off guard. There are going to be some times where he doesn't know what to do, but he seems to learn from this, right? And then again, that natural ability there is pretty strong. 23, a big mo. Okay, I'm trying to stay monetized, so I ain't going to say the whole thing, but you know what I'm thinking. Look at 23, right? Right into his chest. Boom. He ain't going nowhere. 23 ain't going nowhere. The amount of ducks I done seen thrown in this damn tape. Look at him help out. Down block on 23, right? Again, 23 trying to get to the outside of the play. He can't get there. Monroe strong, man. Ooh. Really nice job by Freeling. See how he tags. Look at zero from Alabama's defense. Look how Monroe gets to him. Strike zone. Bam. Right there at the hip, too, so you could just easily displace him. Bam. What slowed down that guard? Okay, that guard was a little bit faster. Maybe this breaks out. But Monroe did his part. And it's not like he's at zero with his technique, right? I think there's definitely room for him to grow when it comes to his technique. It's not perfect, but he's not bad at his technique. He's not a football baby. Like, there's a couple of polishing points that you have to put on him as a tackle, but he's not far off from that. I'm not saying this is like a 5-year project. Like, maybe you spend the first half of the season, or maybe at longest his first year, trying to get his technique up to par, but it's not really like he's broken. He's not, he just needs to, I think, play more football. I think that's going to be the best thing for him. See a rip underneath. He does a good job here, hands in the right spot, and then driving him off the point. Let him take you where you want to go. Look here. So he's helping on 90 and then trying to get to zero. This one, he gets caught reaching. He gets caught launching, right? See, off balance. Sometimes he gets a little over eager, moves a little too fast for his own good. He can learn. And then easy win for the linebacker once he's lurching like that. With Monroe right here, watch him handle two guys here on this one. So Monroe is going to go here and then here. And walling off 41, I think, opens up this touchdown here. So boom, climbs that level, 41. Now that he can't be in that space, it's a race to the corner, and he's got the lead to that race, so he's going to win that race. So yes, that's a touchdown. Great job by the running back. But how was that touchdown created? How was the space there? Monroe Freeling, boom, handling 31, climbing to 41. And then once 41 tries to bounce outside, he's not letting him get there easy. Also didn't make the mistake of holding. And then boom, right there. Let's watch Monroe. This is the last play we're going to see here. Man, Gunnar Stockton just be doing whatever. All right. But Monroe here does a good job kind of sitting on this. Good anchor. His quarterback runs around on him, and then he ends up getting hit by his guy. But that's not Monroe's fault. So that's Monroe Freeling. 2 games from him. The more I watch him, the more I like him. especially the end of the season stuff from him. I think people have undersold where he is at. Like, he's not a project. He's somebody who needs maybe a little bit of seasoning to get exactly where you want. But what's there is pretty good from Monroe Freeling, in my opinion. I don't think he's far off from that. I think his floor is higher than people give it credit for. I think his ceiling, especially as a run blocker, is super high given his athletic ability. And I think that's where he's at the rawest in his game, but his natural ability to be able to hit strike zones in space, I think that matters a great deal, especially when we're talking about doing what the Browns are going to be doing, which is a lot of counter, a lot of pulling these tackles, right? Like, you're going to be doing a lot of pulling, right? So I really like Monroe's skill set for the Cleveland Browns. I can understand if they take this dude at 6. I think if we're going pound for pound, position by position, if you're looking for a left tackle, he's a pretty good left tackle prospect with some all-pro potential. I don't know if I could say that about the other need, which is wide receiver, where the wide receivers are pretty good, but I don't know if Carnell Tate or Jordan Tyson or Mekhi Lemon scream all-pro potential to me. Pro Bowl potential, certainly, but I don't know about all-pro potential. Monroe Freeling, I think he has all-pro potential as a run blocker at the tackle position, and the athletic ability there is just rare for him. He moves great. I can understand them taking him at 6 if they don't want to worry about trying to find a trade back. They just value him there. I think that's fine value, especially in the draft class this year where there's not really a ton of value within the top 10. So that's my breakdown of him. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you agree with me? Do you think the picture of Monroe Freeling has kind of been painted in a misleading direction, or do you not like him? Let me know why in the comment section down below. Y'all have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.